A TMA is a Transportation Management Association. TMAs work around the country on helping to increase mobility. And by that I mean we work to make traveling more efficient, so people basically provide options. We encourage telecommuting, encourage people to take transit, encourage people to carpool, vanpool, flex time for companies so that not everybody's traveling to and from work at the same time. GVF is a not-for-profit 501c4. King of Prussia area is where we're headquartered, and we work both in Chester and Montgomery County on all different mobility issues. GVF has three primary focuses, and we put them under advocacy, sustainability, and partnerships. And what that means is that we partner with other organizations to develop stronger relationships to focus on transportation issues. We advocate, hence advocacy, on major infrastructure projects, major transit projects, bike lanes, all the venues of transportation, and also advocate for the funding of that. And then sustainability is we're looking at doing it in a more sustainable way versus currently what we have is a lot of people just driving alone. How do we get corporations to think differently about their commute patterns, how their employees get to and from work, since a lot of times that's not thought of. How to offset their carbon, maybe if they bike they could lower their carbon emissions and have less air quality issues because we're in a non-compliant area and we do have poor air quality, which then leads to asthma and other chronic lung issues. So it's something that we focus on.
Well, I believe that the Bike to Work Challenge is probably one of the most important things that a person can do when they consider trying to protect the environment, considering your transportation alternatives. And the Bike to Work Challenge provides you with that opportunity to consider your transportation alternatives and to give you an outlet to consider biking to work.
Unfortunately, a lot of the bridges are getting old. Some of the highways are old, and some of them are close to being maxed out as far as capacity. So we're looking at other projects such as the potential extension of the Norristown high-speed line. We're looking at partnering with Lower Merion on the Ardmore train station to make that a 21st century experience. Looking at Paoli, where they also will hopefully develop a full 21st century transit center. And then there's a couple different highway projects, 422, which has a lot of work. There are a lot of great bike lane projects that we're working on. But a lot of it's just all funding. We need to secure that funding, and that's kind of where the biggest gap is right now. One of the things that drives people's habits are how much do you pay at the pump, but I think that's a minor one, not a major one. A lot of people think that that's the change agent, that if gas was $5, $6, $7, that people would change their commuting habits. But and I think it happens to some extent, but if you look at Europe as the model, they're paying much higher than what we pay now, and they're still driving, and they have, in a lot of places, a much better transit system than we do. I think it has to be a change similar to how the recycling program changed our world, where 20 years ago people didn't think about recycling, but now it's ingrained in students at school, and it's something that people just do, and they don't even really think about it anymore. And I think that's hopefully where we can get with transportation, with sustainability. We came across an old video of when we first started back in 1990, and it's funny because some of it looked like it could have been 1950s or 1960s, and just the explosion of growth that we've had out in the suburbs, and to look at King of Prussia as the #2 job center behind Center City, Philadelphia, to look at the 422 corridor and see the explosive growth along that corridor, to look at Great Valley and Chesterbrook. We continue to evolve and expand, and Fort Washington's going through a reinvention of itself right now, and we're very lucky and blessed to be in a good economic environment that even when there was a recession, we tend to some extent avoid those highs and lows that come with downturns. But it's changed a lot, and I think the people are better educated. I think it's a better place to live than it was 20 years ago. And hopefully 20 years from now will be just one of those phenomenal areas where people look to that they want to live in the country.